The central region is spread across states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. The central region of India contributes significantly to the agriculture growth of the country, despite suffering from several biophysical constraints and fragile agro-ecosystems.
Government of India has come out with a new project, that is on climate research, where CREDA is coordinating entire program with several ICR Institute partners and Krishi Vijnana Kendras. It has two components. First one is a strategic research. Second component is to demonstrate climate resilient technologies at ground level, farmers level, to develop climate resilient model villages with several components like a custom hiring center, village climate risk management committee, integrated farming systems, particularly with farm pond based integrated farming systems in rain-fed regions, provide resilience to Indian agriculture so that during any weather aberrations, national food security is not affected adversely.
The NICRA project is coordinated at the national level by the Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture, CREDA. The technology demonstration component is being implemented across 121 districts spread across 28 states.
One union territory.
The major climate vulnerabilities threatening the food and livelihood security of the rural poor are scanty and uneven distribution of rainfall, prolonged dry spells and poor recharge of shallow aquifers identified based on their vulnerability to different climatic stresses such as droughts, floods. In the central region, technology demonstrations were implemented through 20 Krishi Vigyan Kendras, KVKs, with the support of Agricultural Technology Application Research Institutes
at Jabalpur and Hyderabad, in collaboration with state agricultural universities of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh.
Climate resilient interventions are implemented in 4 major modules: Natural Resource Management, NRM, Crop Production, Livestock and Fisheries, Institutional Interventions. Scarcity of water is a perennial problem in this region, which aggravates during deficient monsoon conditions. Decline in groundwater level is also a major concern.
Hence, suitable NRM interventions are implemented to address these constraints.
Runoff leads to the loss of fertile topsoil from agricultural lands.
Trench-cum-bunding techniques arrests soil loss and also conserves runoff.
Compartmental bunding in fields increases storage of moisture in black soils during Kharif. For an excellent Rabi crop of sorghum,
farmers adopted in situ moistures conservation practices and contingency measures to cope with the aberrant rainfall conditions. Broad bed furrows planting, ridge furrows planting and sowing across the slope along with adoption of short duration variety JS 9305 resulted in yield enhancement. BBF allows light and frequent watering needed to address terminal heat stress during adverse weather conditions and also for better drainage of excess water during intense storms.
मतलब जो छिड़का पद्धति से ये पद्धति अच्छी है क्योंकि इसमें रोग कम लगते हैं। दूसरी बात ये मतलब अच्छी उपज देती है और पानी भी सहन कर लेती है, इससे ये फायदा है।
Land leveling combined with bunding helps in reducing soil erosion as well as runoff and undulated terrain in order to cultivate common dryland crops and enhances infiltration of water into the soil.
On farm water storage was promoted as a key intervention in the NICRA villages.
Integration of farm ponds with suitable cropping modules minimize the risk of crop failure in the event of deficit rainfall conditions. Plastic lining of farm ponds prevented loss of water through seepage and increased rainwater use efficiency and water productivity. Defunct water storage structures were identified to carry out desiltation.
The rich silt deposited in these structures was used by farmers for spreading in the fields to improve the water holding capacity of soils.
This intervention helped in increasing the surface water resource availability and increased the groundwater recharge observed through water table measurements in wells located nearer to the tanks.
As a low-cost alternative, Bori Bandhans were constructed using sand or soil-filled gunny bags as temporary water storage structures. It promoted farmers to adopt crop diversification for enhancing income and resilience. Efficient use of harvested water through
Drip irrigation facilitated supplemental irrigation to cope with prolonged dry spells during critical crop growth stages.
तर मग मी ड्रीप घेतलेला आहे. ड्रीप लावल्यानंतर मी ड्रीपच्या नंतर एवढे फायदे झालेले आहे मला. त्याचं म्हणजे खत वगैरे जे आहे तो ड्रीपने जात असते आणि जे माणसाचा फायदा आहे, बायाचा फायदा आहे आणि दुसरी गोष्ट हे आहे काय पाण्याचा बिलकुल म्हणजे कमीत कमी पाणी लागते.
Due to undulated topography, there is enough potential to harvest runoff, especially after heavy rainfall, through rainwater harvesting and efficient recycling. Adoption of zero-tillage sowing in wheat resulted in early sowing of wheat, which enables to escape the heat wave during grain filling and maturity.
और ये गेहूँ जो है अरहर के बाद लगाया है और बगैर जुताई किए बिना आपकी जीरो ट्रे वाली मशीन से लगाया है, तो हमको मतलब इससे 4-5 जुताई का पैसा बचता है. कम से कम 1,500-2 हज़ार रुपये का हमको फ़ायदा है जुताई का. किसान
Short duration drought tolerant crop varieties were demonstrated for delayed sowing and deficit rainfall conditions in the region. Short duration high yielding varieties enable farmers to cope with shortened growing season due to late arrival of monsoon and delayed plantings. Long duration variety of pigeon pea suffers from severe frost. To overcome this problem, short duration pigeon pea ICPL 88039 variety was introduced. Short duration soybean variety JS9560 has been widely adopted in about 15,000 hectares in Datia, Madhya Pradesh as an outcome of the varietal performance in Nikra villages.
practice of sole cropping is predominant but is risky and often results in low yields or sometimes even in crop failure due to erratic monsoon rainfall and skewed distribution. Hence, intercropping with cotton, soybean, pigeon pea and grams was proven to be more profitable and is a key drought coping strategy. Cultivation of green gram and black gram are mostly affected due to uncertain rainfall and water logging in case of excess rainfall. Hence, short duration high yielding varieties like TJM3 in green gram and Ganga in black gram are introduced in place of long duration local varieties. Soil health and soil quality are key to ensuring sustainable food security in fragile agro ecosystems.
Soil test based integrated manure and fertilizer use was a key adaptation strategy adopted by farmers in Nikra villages.
Generally, farmers burn crop residue like stalks of pigeon pea and cotton without recycling them. Hence, demonstrated the use of rotavator, which mixes
and incorporates the stubbles of previous crop thoroughly in the soil, resulting in increased crop yield. Hormonal sprays of NAA at flowering stage contributed to better retention of flowers and fruits during adverse climatic conditions.
Breed upgradation at village level by introducing Beetle, Jamnapuri, Murra, Vanjara, Crawler, etc. boosted the productivity of livestock and poultry in the region. Introducing of a stress-tolerant indigenous breeds was also successful in building the proportion of resilient stock at the village level in non-traditional areas. Availability of fodder is a challenge in the region, especially during drought or drought-like conditions. To overcome the scarcity, farmers adopted year-round fodder production system with sorghum, lucerne, berseem and multi-cut fodder varieties like MP Chari for availability of both green and dry fodder resource in Nikra villages. Farmers adopted variety of the cereal fodder sorghum and it grows well in summer and rainy season despite heat or moisture stress. Farmers were trained on preparation and use of mineral mixture to mitigate deficiency, improve reproductive health and milk yield in dairy animals. Farmers modified animal shades to improve ventilation and provided misting facility to reduce the impact of heat stress during summer for improving the productivity. Shri Patheria, a progressive farmer from Nikra villages in Datia, adopted an integrated farming system model with a farm, pound and utilized the harvested rainwater to cultivate field, crop vegetables, dairy and fish production. Fingerlings of katla, rohu, mirgal and grass crop were introduced into the pound. Crop residue and dung from the dairy was used. Preparation of compost and biogas. Celery was used for application in the field crops and harvested water for critical irrigations. In view of water scarcity and drought situation, availability of green fodder becomes critical during summer for livestock production. Hence, silage preparation was introduced in Nikra villages to mitigate fodder scarcity.
मुरघासा 3 वर्षापासून करत असल्यामुळं मला स्वतःला फायदा होतोय आणि माझं पाहून अनेक शेतकरी आता करू लागलेत.
Recognizing the need for establishment of enabling support system for participatory decision making, village climate risk management committees known as VCRMCs were formed. 10 to 20 villagers who are member of VCRMCs share support and encourage fellow farmers to adapt to the change in climatic conditions.
Establishment of custom hiring centers is an innovative approach adopted under Nikra to make costly equipments affordable and accessible to small and marginal farmers and promote climate resilient practices for resource conservation and timeliness of farm operations. CHCs are managed by farmers themselves and hiring charges are worked out by farmers group. Revenue from hiring is deposited in a bank account and used for repair and maintenance of machines. A network of automatic weather stations enabled extension of climate services to farmers in the form of agro-advisories in unfolding weather situations. Small weather stations established in Nikra villages promoted climate awareness and literacy among crop and livestock farmers.
Seed is a critical input in the arid and semi-arid areas.
Ensuring the right seed at the right time is important for enhancing resilience to climate risks. Farmer groups were encouraged to multiply seeds of varieties, particularly short duration and drought varieties. A fodder bank was established in the village under the Nikra project. Fodder stem cuttings were supplied to the farmers from this fodder bank in the village.
The green fodder shortage was reduced and availability of green fodder increased up to month of January to February.
Training programs on climate resilient agriculture practices and technologies help to create awareness on climate related issues among farmers and all stakeholders. The NICRA project will continue to endeavor to enhance the adaptive capacity of farmers and resilience of farming in the fragile and stressed agro ecosystems of the arid and semi-arid regions.